Sky grows dark, decay underneath, the ravens in the sky, and kings shall deceive. We have come into the night, thunder and rage and war at night. We have come into the night, thunder, rage and war at night. We'll fight, for kings, for Ragnarok. Drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. Drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. I can feel it in my veins, the warrior inside of me. Drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. The sounds of arms, fierce morality. Nightfall, the rain, and the silence leads. We have come into the night, thunder, rage, and war at night. We have come into the night, thunder, rage, and war at night. We'll fight, for kings, for Ragnarok. Sail war. Drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. Drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. I can feel it in my veins, the warrior inside of me. Drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok, drink her up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. I did not find an extension. I'm just got
Well,
8 inches away from my TV.
well,
Yeah,
that's okay that you're gonna have to be a couple inches away because we are here and ready to go with season 4, week 1 of Valhalla Esports. I am here with the other Cathars, Matthias, RDR, Boo. I'm Satan. This is Malco coming at you guys from the casting desk. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Hi, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Malco. Hell yeah.
As you guys can see, I got the energy ready to go. And we do have on production today to give thanks for this stream being up and running. Beard in the background. He may give his tidbits in here and there between games or whatever. But aside from that, he's going to be running this stream and making it go as smoothly as possible. And with that, we are ready to get right into the matchup here tonight. We do have the boy band themselves, HYG, versus the very new team held by Pharaoh, Demonic Ascension. Here we do have the roll calls of top lane Spoobert, jungle Sim Jim, mid lane Golden Pharaoh, ADC Timberland, support Halfling, with HYG's team with top lane being Perfy, jungle being TJ, mid being Bonkers, ADC Jeffrey Crazy, and support being Marbra. How you guys feeling about these two teams here?
I have seen HYG across multiple discords, and they are a strong team when the synergy is there for sure. So I'm excited to see them again. It's like a little callback. I love that. And their icon's really cool. That's super dope. And I have seen a couple of games where SimGem has absolutely popped off. I'm not really hip to all the specific salaries just yet, but I am excited to see what he does in the jungle, especially against TJ. I think he might have the advantage there. And then Classic Feral heading up the mid lane. I'm excited to see what goes down there as well.
I think this is going to be a pretty fun matchup to look into. I see that these teams right now, again, HYG now kind of spreading themselves around, unfortunately losing some of their OG members as we know it. But the boy band had to break up and bring some new singers in, and it's looking like they're trying to make a much stronger season this time around. While Demonic Ascension is a new team making their inaugural game here for season 4 and looking to make a strong point that they might be a contender not only for playoffs but for the championship. So with that said, I think we're ready to go ahead and get into draft screen. And yes, we are with the draft of game 1 starting here. And the first band that we are getting is Nocturne. Now, as a reminder to everybody, I believe that this patch was played on 14.6. Am I correct? So there's like some nerfs and things to some of the old OP stuff like Smolder, amongst other things. But we shouldn't see any craziness like that, especially with the way our league is. And we're starting to see already the bans towards Gragas, Lilia, Master Yi. And then we should begin the last two bands here momentarily. I do listen. I like these bands. It's pretty interesting to see. Karma is actually a pretty good band here as well. Pretty OP, no matter who has her. I've noticed that she's been kind of a tear as of late, and then Senna being the OP, one of the OP picks that recently also got a little bit of a hit to it, but it's still going to get picked up here. And Demonic Ascension is going to first pick the Ashe, a decent flex pick. Could either go into the either role in the bot lane or somehow mid lane. I could see it possibly going as well, but more than likely going into that 80 carry role.
Yeah, I absolutely love these bands so far, other than the Yi. The Yi's a bit of a shocker for my surface level knowledge, but yeah, Gragas is performing very well in the right hands, and Karma, Lily, and Nocturne are all just pains to deal with. Karma is such a strong position right now. And Senna is gross too. I'm mainly a mid laner, but even as bad a support as I am, I have gone these like Zyra Senna bot lanes or Seraphine Zyra Seraphine Senna bot lanes, and they're so oppressive. They're absolutely oppressive. But Zyra
Oppressive.
Khan coming out of the gate is gross. That is a great answer to Ashe. Making sure she doesn't have too much time to kite away, some good range to kind of help deal with it. That's good stuff. I like that.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I love the response from HYG here. They saw the Ashe and they immediately said, hold on, we got one at least get out of jail free card button in the R from the Xayah the moment they hit level 6. And then the Rakan giving decent protection with that Lovers Duo being a great combo since the very inception of the two. But in response, Demonic Ascension is going to pick up the Zillion, which also gives technically one person to get out of jail free card. And then the Hecarim being picked up as the jungle pick here, which is a very interesting one. I haven't seen that champion in quite some time.
Yeah, the Zillion Hecarim synergy is no stranger, and adding a champion like Ashe that can keep the slows down, that is forming out to be a really strong team. I think it's a great three-man lead from Demonic Ascension. It gives them a little bit of wave clear, a little bit of poke, and plenty of poke, and a great engage out of the gate. And I see that Pharaoh said that Yi is SimGem's most played champ, so I could see that. I think if I remember right, SimGem's a little bit higher salary, and target banning that makes total sense. And Belveth, that champion gives me nightmares. I actually haven't read the patch notes on why she has like a million boardlings shoving down lane. I've only seen like clips and whatnot, but that is hilarious. That is meme worthy, the amount of stuff that gets piled up.
It's definitely going to be something that's going to be, I feel, annoying for them. I'm already liking HYG's team comp a lot here, even though the Demonic Ascension, it's just kind of like, hey, slow them down with Ashe, zoom up the Hecarim, and just run right into them whenever you can. So I can already see how easily that team comp is going to come around. Really quickly, just to go ahead and reiterate the bans so far we've seen on Demonic Ascension, they decided to ban out Kaisa and Yasuo, while we see Victor and Vex banned. So some really nice targeted mid lane bans right there towards Pharaoh, especially since he's been recently on a Victor kick. It kind of makes sense that you want to try to ban one of those one-off champions that not a lot of people see, and it might be a little hard to play against. And HYG picking up the Orianna.
Yeah, help me break down if they already picked Zyra Khan, why did they ban Kaisa? I guess that one's not super clear to me. Love the Wei pick in Orianna though. Wei's disgusting right now. But yeah, why ban Kaisa? Where is that going if not bot lane? Is that mid pick?
I think they, yeah, I think they were anticipating like an
Interesting.
AP Kaisa mid instead, and that would be like it would definitely make a safe poke composition, possibly.
Interesting. It could be double AD. That's fair. That's a lot of damage coming out from Demonic Ascension. A lot of burst too. That
Top lane
is,
Rek'Sai?
they kind of love it.
Top lane Rek'Sai is absolutely busted right now.
Oh,
As somebody
okay.
who
She
just
did.
started playing the top lane, I absolutely hate seeing that goddamn champion.
Told you guys we
Her
would
and
chime in
Zach,
every so often.
they're the two worst.
That it took Rek'Sai Top to bring the production out into the voice chat. Amen for that. I'm excited to see that. Then I have no reference what Rek'Sai Top looks like, but it's into an Alawi, which is another incredible melee champ. We'll see how the no vision or lack of vision works with the tentacles in the future. That's gonna be funny.
This is one of those champions I absolutely despise because it's Alawi, and Alawi is one of those ones that like I usually always give the win to the Alawi games because I'm just like, or the Alawi team, because I'm just like, for some reason she's 0-6 up top lane. Next thing you know, she has 3 turrets barreling down the inhib and 6 kills and hasn't died since she died the 6th time. And you're just like, what is going on all of a sudden? So it's pretty interesting to see them pick that up, and it took. I'm really interested to see how this Rek'Sai goes because that's going to be a crazy pick into Alawi. So, do you guys have anything else to say before we get into this game one?
Other than it's not quite the 0-10 Yasuo power spike that Alawi needs, but it's pretty close.
Pretty close, and we're gonna see if the Alawi here is gonna end up getting that 0-6 power spike, or is a Demonic Ascension gonna be able to take game one and really work towards that, giving us a strong showing in their week 1 of games. So for right now, if everyone's ready, we're ready to get right into this game here.
Right on. I certainly enjoy Demonic Ascension's team fight better. I think it's easier to pull off. I think it makes a little more sense as far as a team comp goes. You do have the Orianna with a couple of engagers such as Marbra and TJ if he can kind of like get in there. But I think we're going to see a lot of solo ults from Bonkers, and Bonkers being the setup. Bonkers being the setup for HYG.
Honestly, I think that's going to be that's definitely going to be one of the big things for them. Is I think it's going to be primarily on Marbra and TJ and how they position themselves, allowing Orianna to get these really huge ultis in general. Hold on here. We do see Hui and Hecarim posing to try to get some vision down, but a little damage poked onto the Bel'Veth early. But other than that, basically a standard 5-point start for the majority of the teams, trying to get some vision in.
Yeah, no cheeky starts other than the corrupting pot from Alawi against the Rek'Sai, which kind of leads me to think that Rek'Sai has a fair amount of poke with that range Q, or it's maybe better trading potential versus the Doran shield. The ticks versus the heal there. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out if Alawi can focus those early game interactions or early level interactions with the corrupting pot.
One's
Now,
going for trading versus one going for survivability. Oh, look at the fist bump.
That is cute. So if you could give me like a quick little overhead of like general salary. I think I got HYG salary pretty figured out. I think I know most of them. But I'm not sure about Timberland or Halfling or Spoobert. I think I did see Spoobert in a in-house. But I'm not really hip to the rest of their Demonic Ascension.
Demonic Ascension, I'm not too big on the salaries per se. I just know that this is kind of like a team that, from what I've known, I was kind of like in a little bit of the background of the planning of how Pharaoh wanted to draft this team in particular, just because of how close me and him are as friends.
Sure.
So I just kind of saw like some of his planning and stuff, and from what I can say is that it wasn't necessarily salary that was the big thing on his mind when it came to drafting this team. It was more of like who's going to be basically able to make the best. Oh, hold on 1 second here. Ashe is taking a lot of damage here in this level 1. Hitting the level 2 first for HYG in that bot lane definitely gave them some pressure. Didn't blow any sums for the side of Demonic Ascension's bot lane, but definitely gave a little damage and worth a little bit of trading just to establish that dominance.
Yeah, that level 2 Rakan got that 2-man W. That is just devastating that early with his eye to back it up. That is just, you got to watch those level 2s for sure as a bot lane. That is so crucial.
But now, especially now with them also being level 2, you gotta hold on. We're seeing a little bit of trading going on. Alawi's actually losing this
we got
fight
3
right here.
tentacles on though. The healing's coming through. The corrupting pot's coming down.
Now it's looking like Rek'Sai's getting a little bit of hurt. Spoobert trying to fight a little bit more, but the Rek'Sai definitely showing already at level 3 what they can do in that top side alone. Man, and Alawi really wants to wants to really try to like fight here while that corrupting
Yep,
pot
she's
is
got
taken
her
down.
second
But
second pot ticking there. She's definitely losing some of these longer trades. But I imagine Rek'Sai being a pretty good early game champion for sure at the true damage and whatnot. Easy combos, CC. That makes a lot of sense that Alawi might struggle with that early. Oh, just missed that E.
that's so unfortunate to see there. Don't see Timberland right now. Looks like they're having a really fun time in this bot lane. It looks like there's a
Ooh,
decent
Hecarim
amount of
here for the
harass.
top lane gank.
Yeah, but we
Oh,
also got
Miracle
going on in
bot
this
lane.
bot side.
Zaya's down
Heal
to 10.
blown,
Zero gets
exhaust
the shield.
blown. Zaya nearly having to flash out, actually. Ghosting as well. Trying to get away from the Zillion. Almost taken out by the Q. And now Hecarim is actually fighting the Belveth for the Scuttle Crab here. We do have a fight between Jungler and Jungler. Still wanting to go for the Scuttle Crab. Orianna traveled up here first. Shield dropped on the Belveth. Scuttle Crab goes over to the side of Demonic Ascension. And now the fight continues as they continue to go inside. Waze able to drag him in. Not able to pull him in enough. Slowed down. Takes it in. And the absorbing of the health takes the first blood for the Hecarim. Ghosting in. Trying to get in on top of this Orianna. You don't want to go there. Flashes in. And is not going to be able to get away under the turret directly. But Hecarim doesn't want to fight under their way. Not there close enough either. Orianna able to get away with the skin of their teeth. But the first blood still given over to Demonic Ascension. Oh, and the long range snipe onto Bonkers from Pue. Able to take him out while they were backing. Gonna be able to give them that second kill that they nearly missed out on. And we do see Perfy being able to trade that right back onto Spoober after having to lose the 2 kills for his side. They're able to take one for HYG, 2 for 1 on that extended fight.
Yeah, you can't ignore that Alawi, is now up, a wave just at and a kill. So that's definitely going to help project her into the mid game, fighting off this Rek'Sai's early game. And the Hecarim right there got the double buff off the Belveth, which was just absolutely perfect for him as far as refreshes go. Away with a fantastic snipe against the Orianna. I mean, any other, minor clicks there, and that fight goes either way. That was well fought. That was fun to watch.
I know Orianna was probably sitting there a little mad because the turret shot it was just barely there. If it was,
what's all, but Hecarim walked away with single digit health as well from the minions hitting him. So I mean, he got there just in the nick of time too. I mean, single digit health anywhere, and that's anyone's game.
And now you see Hecarim was able to utilize that little bit of a win that they had, take the Void Grubs, get all 3 Void Grubs to start off in the very beginning there. So now that's just a little extra buff for the side of Demonic Ascension. They're already showing very strongly at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, about a 600 or 700 gold lead. We actually love to see that. We pretty fair farm across all lanes so far. Hecarim obviously just a little bit ahead of the Belveth as far as farm. We got the kill and the assist. But it looks like HYG is going to claim the first dragon here.
Definitely a well worth a trade. It's something that's like, okay, if they end up taking that, we can at least try to start Drake stacking, which is going to become more important later. Yes, Demonic Ascension is going to have that overall pushing power for themselves, but you're going to see HYG all of a sudden start to stampede in their overall, maybe, just being able to get to places quicker because they secure Cloud Drake, or they're able to do these nice ulti being able to be used there right from the Orianna Hui, trying to get away, flashes. Very not enough.
No.
He got his sums, but you couldn't take his life and make him see the gray screen. Bonkers right now probably was just sitting there banging against his desk, man. I'm so sorry. I would have been raging there too.
He's been single digits away from 2 kills. He just can't close it out. Oh man, you hate to see it, but his spirits are still high. I'm sure he's getting there. He's putting the work in, no doubt.
Oh, yeah,
and Orianna ult, he has a amp tome, and that's the only damage item he has outside of Doran's ring, and that was still half health in him from 100.
And he has nothing to be worried about. Like, when you look at it, like, the farm difference is only about a 6 farm difference, only a kill and an assist. Oh, double bomb lands right there. Exhaust dropped onto the Ashe, but Hecarim is here to go ahead and lay it on you. Zaya trying to get under their turret. Oh, use Hecarim going right into him. 2-0-1. Gonna be able to get away. Final dirt shot not gonna be there. Can't get that last auto attack from the Ashe to be able to land on and get that double on the bot side, but it ends up being another kill. Hecarim showing some serious like just presence in this game already, and it's already proven to try to help here, as we're also going to be able to get a plate there for Demonic Ascension's bot side. So what that much needed help that they needed on that side there ended up happening.
Yeah, Syndrome's doing a really good job of knowing his limits and just stretching it to the absolute most. And you just love to see that of a jungler, you know, just doing absolutely everything he can for the laner. And Relawi putting in some solid damage on the Rek'Sai up top lane. More fighting here in the mid lane. This
I
is
really do like this, but the
Oh!
support Rome lands the W, trying to get the kill back, and Bonkers with the last auto there, able to take it. And thank you, Marbor, being a great support, not trying to do any additional damage, not doing anything else to try to attempt to take that kill, and instead giving it to your mid laner where they much needed it. Now this mid lane looking a lot more even.
Yeah, well practiced, well managed right there. Everybody was cool, calm, collected on that, and a fantastic roam by Marbra right there. I actually wasn't keeping track of the
Zillion caught out alone, speed boosted, nice arrow to land right onto Belvac, gonna stop that engage onto Halfling there, and Halfling gonna be able to walk away with his life, not having to use anything else. Still level 5 too, so the ultimate from the Zillion, a very valued resource, has not actually come online yet. So that's gonna be very interesting to do that in a combination with the rest of the team.
Am I reading this right? Okay, I am reading that wrong. I think on my screen it says Hecarim only has 6 stacks of his jungle item left, and Belveth has 21. Is that how I'm reading that? Is that 16?
16.
Okay,
16,
sweet. Thank you. I was about to say, whoa.
I'm about to say, yeah, I don't think Hecarim is absolutely stomping in the jungle right now, but definitely showing that they are able to get at least the one up on him. But this time Belveth is actually in the area with their mid laner for the Void Grubs, so they might be able to actually fight for it this time. Orianna right now, Bonk is trying to walk up, maybe get something, but Hecarim walks in right behind him, jumping in on top of Orianna. Belveth being able to distract them as Alawi is on too. Shut down as Orianna is able to take that kill onto the Hecarim, and now they're pushing in, trying to take on it away. Perfy able to slam onto him and take the kill onto Hui as he walks away, and these Void Grubs are looking like it's going to the side of HYG this time.
Yeah, that was really good pathing by the Alawi right there. I really enjoy. She, found ways to stay mobile and stay in the fight, and it's unfortunate that Wei couldn't shake that the E passive in time. That was very well played by HYG right there to kind of get back and keep some momentum in this game with the Hecarim kind of running down all their throats. That's what they need for this right now.
Congratulations, Bonkers. This time you did get the double buffs. It ends up working in your favor, and your team ends up overall, I would say it's an overall win. Yes, you didn't get all 3 of the Void Grubs, but you ended up taking 2, so you guys have a little bit of pushing power for yourselves, which is great. And again, it was able to swing the gold lead in y'all favor. Now sitting about 500 gold lead up for HYG. So this game so far is still very even, but it looks like HYG has, still signs of life in them. They're not going to give it up.
Now that Alawi Sheem W on the Rek'Sai is chunking him for almost a quarter of his health every application. That is some serious damage. And man, the harass under this tower is just, oh man, it's tough to watch. This is
That's just not fair. How do you
putting in the work
that?
right now on Spoobert? You love to see it.
Again, it's Alawi. Oh man, a massive fight starts off in the bot lane as we see 2 of them caught out in the opposite side of the jungle. Hecarim trying to jump in onto the AD carry. Ash trying to run away. Zillion using the ultimate, gonna try to get away from there, but Bellet's is gonna stick onto him as Jeffrey Crazy is able to take out Timberland. Now, ulti gonna be used by the Orianna to jump on top of them, but it's gonna be another kill. Secure double kill going right over to the Xayah for the side of HYG. But now, Hui having to travel up to the top side to go ahead and try to jump onto the Alawi to get this kill really quickly. Ulti used by Alawi, shut down, bringing in immediately Orianna. Bonker is gonna try to get the Rek'Sai from them, but it's a 2v1 as the ult is used by the Way to try to go ahead and do a lot more damage, but it's not going to be enough as the claw comes out, able to drag them out. Bonkers using the fancy footwork, able to get themselves away. Hecarim is not here. Sorry, I meant Rek'Sai, thinking of 2 different types of junglers. But Rek'Sai, pretty low, thinking about the engage, decided not to go back in for that. And we do see the TP being used by Perfy immediately, and just going to back off there. You might as well end up taking that for yourself. You got the shutdown on. You got the shutdown from Perfy. That's great.
Yeah, that's really tough on Bonkers not getting the Rek'Sai kill up there. That was really tough. There's a lot of CC involved for sure, but I mean his abilities just weren't quite sticking through. And
oh man, we see Jeffrey just. I didn't even get the chance to he just immediately eviscerated him, shredded him, and he was gone. Taking that E now, but Hecarim's looking like he wants to fight. No, instead just gonna charge right into the Alawi tentacle. I don't think you want to really fight that Frostborn Gauntlet Alawi right now.
Yeah, Xayah there, right before she bought Kraken, she just had a Noon Quiver and the Recurve Bow, and that is just a lot of extra flat damage, and that's only getting stronger with the completion of the legendary item.
No
Hecarim right
stun,
here getting
but
stalled up by
uses
the
the ult
Orianna
to try to
ult.
get away.
Oh,
Had the stun land right onto him. Orianna not gonna be able to get away. Kill goes over to Simjim, getting that shutdown. That's another kill secured for the jungler of the side of Demonic Ascension, as we do see a little 1v1 going on the side. A lot more trading than anything else. But it's now that Sunfire Cape's actually doing some work for Rek'Sai here. Able to help resist a lot of the Alawi damage, as we do see them continue to trade, but it just feels like a wet noodle fight right now. I don't really see any damage being done on either side. So to help with that, Quay is over here to help give his top laner a little bit more of that extra damage. The AP coming out to try to help, but the Alawi ultimate dropped. The healing being used. Zillion needed for the extra support to try to help. The double bomb lands. Boom goes the dynamite as Golden Pharaoh takes out Perfy on that last hit of the kill. We do see Hecarim now here trying to help save his bot laner as Rakan wants to try to secure that kill. Feathers fly, pulled back in, shut down, not enough. As we see both the ADC and the jungler for the side of Demonic Ascension able to take another kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's just back and forth. You know, on one side, on one side of the map, Demonix is winning, and the other side of the map, HYG, and they're going back and forth. It's hard to really say like which team is having the lead. I mean, they're 700k in part, but the gold per champion is pretty dang close across the board. Hecarim's got a little bit of lead on the Bel'Veth. Quay might have a little bit of a lead onto the Orianna, but they've all hit their early game power spikes. They're all doing exactly what they need to do. This next back from Demonic Ascension is really their time to shine surrounding these next objectives. Trying to calm down the Dragon Collection from HYG. Herald is up right here. I would love to see Demonic go for a Herald play right here to, synergize with the earlier grubs.
Yeah, especially, and honestly, if HYG wants to try to get back into this game, I would rather see them posturing more towards the top side at this moment, getting more vision up there, being prepared for the potential to fight for it, especially with Bel'Veth being one of those champions that does want to get the Herald. It just seems like being bot side at this moment is not the best type of move. It would just see, and now they're starting to see they're more mid side as they're able to catch out one of the members of Demonic Ascension. Hui having to be used the Zillion ulti, the stun from the ultimate of the Ashe, able to take out Rakan there, having to stop him.
He's still living.
Heals, able to live not so long as HYG Bonkers is able to take out Golden Pharaoh. Alawi caught out top 2v1 against the Rek'Sai and Hecarim as they're able to do it. Spoobert gonna be able to take out Alawi, now getting ganged up on. Zaya having to run away from the Ashes. Ashes now with the Kraken and is able to turn this game around. You think that you have the damage? No, it's me, Timberland says to Jeffrey Crazy as he pushes him out the lane and stops him from taking his turret.
Yeah, this is really exciting stuff. There's just stuff happening all the time. It doesn't matter if there's...
Oh no, Rakan caught out again. Ultimate from the Hecarim doing so much damage. Is it gonna be enough as Hecarim is able to help take out one? Symptom going on a killing spree. His Halfling's able to take out TJ. And that's gonna be another kill, but it's gonna be his death as well as he takes a double kill for himself, but the shutdown going over to Bonkers as he takes that turret dive. But it's absolutely insane. Simjin really feeling himself in this game.
Yeah, he having Eclipse and Shojin now with Phage and CDR boots. That Hecarim is becoming an absolute mid-game problem. But Orianna did get the shutdown onto the Hecarim, so, she got the NLR off of that. So, damage is definitely still getting, or gold is still getting spread around all the champions. But yeah, this Hecarim is definitely controlling the game right now. The action is where he is for sure. He is a solid playmaker for the team. Simjim really showing up.
I'm just really loving it. I'm just enjoying the game that we're seeing right now. But once again, HYG sticking to that dragon stacking. But this time we do see a little trade going on the top side. But it's more important is that we have the Drake being fought over by both sides. It looks like it was actually stopped by HYG entirely as they saw that Hecarim was engaging onto him, jumps into him, managed to land the stun right onto the Bel'Veth, not going to land on it long enough. The Maul lands and it goes even more. Feathers fly, drags him in, able to get the Zillion bomb drop. Jeffrey Crazy going to be able to take out Golden Pharaoh, but Golden Pharaoh taking out Jeffrey Crazy in return. Double kill going right over to the Hecarim as another kill goes over to the Ashe. We do see it ends up being 4 for 1, and that's going to be the Drake going right over to Demonic Ascension. Insane fight, big win for that side.
Yeah, Simjim is definitely pretty pivotal for this team. And Bonker's trying his best with some really solid ults Hecro
Oh,
or Rek'Sai not quite making it out to the
unfortunately.
tower. And that's another thing. I did not, learning about this Rek'Sai top, it seeing going Sunfire and Thornmail. Tank Rek'Sai top was the last thing I expected to see as far as builds go. But I love it. I absolutely love tanks personally. And the more the better. My philosophy in almost every game is if you have enough CC and enough health, they will die. You will win the game. That is my philosophy through League of Legends, and it's haunted me since. But yeah, HYG, Demonic Ascension is in a pretty powerful spot right now. They need to be the aggressors. This Herald's now in plain view for them. If they can get it within the next minute, that should be the focus here for sure.
And honestly, at this point, I don't think HYG has, at this current moment, a real pose to fight them if they decide to go for this Rift Herald. If anything, if they don't want the Rift Herald, as long as they can stop Bel'Veth from taking it at any point, like that's also perfectly fine for the side of Demonic Ascension. We're starting to see turrets being dropped by HYG, so they're starting to gain back a little bit of the gold that they had lost in the lead. We saw them, it ballooned to 3K gold lead, but now it's starting to slowly wither away for them. So right now for HYG, I think they still do have the insurance and Alawi up in that top side. That's going to be really annoying when she actually joins the team fights. And we do have to wait for Xayah to become fully online too, which she could start to shred through teams.
Yeah, I do believe that HYG has a better comp for counter engage. I don't think they need to be pressing Demonic Ascension almost anywhere here except maybe in the top lane with the Alawi. She still has a pretty substantial hold on the lane. But if I'm HYG, I'm waiting for the Hecarim to go in, and I'm just peeling for my carries as hard as I can.
Ooh, that big ultimate from the Orianna able to land on them there, but the Hecarim ultimate in the background ends up leading to the Wombo combo. So many kills, so many deaths, but none of the deaths attributed to Demonic Ascension. Big fight leads to a clean 4-0.
Yeah, that is a 4 for nothing for Demonic Ascension. They did not get the Herald, but Baron just popped up right in front of them, and they are going to get an early bird stack for this. An absolute insane pause from SimGem for that ult, waiting for them all to get in that one area. HYG has really got to work on their spacing to avoid.
Oh, wait a second, though. Alawi is here to try to save the Baron play, as we do have a TP coming in from the Orianna. A lot of damage, but Alawi just healing it all. They're able to murk her down. But now we do have the Orianna being chased. They managed to stop the Baron take, but what cost the Scooper's able to take out Bonkers, and more lives are going to be taken. Shut down as Hecarim is slain by Bel'Veth. But now Bel'Veth is going to be taken out by the enemy AD carry as Timberland goes on a rampage, and we do see it's going to be 4 members dropped once again for the side of HYG. They managed to stop the Baron, but at the cost of many team members' lives. A few shutdowns given as well, but it doesn't end up really amounting to much else. As we see the Ash ultimate come out, able to land the Mars. We now Golden Pharaoh going on a killing spree for himself in that mid lane. That was very greedy to step up there, and it unfortunately ended up leading to Jeffrey Crazy losing his life.
Yeah, the easier to perform team fight from Demonic Ascension is really showing through here. They have their moments. They know where to go for. They know how to lay their damage down. It is definitely an easier team fight for them. HYG is in a tough spot right now, being behind against a team who does love to engage against you. Backs against the wall that time. The best they can really hope to do is stall, but they did stop the Baron. And any gold going over to HYG right now is absolute a win for them, even if they have to, cost a couple things. Man, this Xayah is really like the big key to HYG right now. They really need her to get online to be able to perform in these team fights. Orianna just doesn't quite have enough
pops the
damage to really
ultimate,
pull through.
lands, but nothing. Guess he didn't want to do much else. Hecarim now is fighting the Alawi 1v1 with the Zillion walking up, able to land 1 bomb. Not going to get the second, but that's a lot of damage coming out from the Alawi. Hecarim going to have to use the ultimate, trying to drop some damage on, get the resurrection right onto the Hecarim. Alawi dropping right onto Ash. Ash dropping more damage onto Alawi. Alawi now being killed as Halfling goes onto a killing spree. We're going to now have Rakan losing his life as Timberland goes unstoppable. Ult used by the Ash, going to go wide as another death is dropped onto the Xayah. Golden Pharaoh taking that kill. Double kill going over for the AD carry of Demonic Ascension as they now take the turret. 4 for nothing in that fight as Bel'Veth is the only one left, and now Demonic Ascension barreling down the mid lane.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's some pretty poor pathing on the side of HYG right there. Just some unnecessary checks that they really need, that they walked into. Demonic Ascension absolutely showing their dominance here. Simgem going absolutely insane. Way having great kite. Ash and Zillion. Honestly, the Zillion Hecarim synergy. We saw Hecarim go in, get killed, get revived. Zillion had double bumps on him. Gave Hecarim the time to run back in and get more damage. I really like the team comp from Demonic Ascension here. It's very well put together. Makes a lot of sense. Easy to perform. It's really, really smart. Even
Mountain
with the
Drake
Rex
taken for
dive being
demonic
down,
section.
even with the
Oh
Rex
wow.
dive being down, it works in their favor because he's just a tank. All he has to do is be a meat shield, and that's performing very, very well.
It's working very well for them. Like you're not even expecting him to do damage. Stun landed. Maul gonna be grassed on to the Alawi, but Alawi taking a lot of damage is not gonna be enough. Your ult can't heal that much, unfortunately. Double kill going right over as he takes out the enemy AD carry for Pharaoh. That's a double kill, and we do have more chases. TJ gets slain by Simjim, and this Hecarim absolutely going in and tearing the team asunder. Is now that's gonna be a double kill in the ace secured by Demonic Ascension, and with the wave about to push, this potentially could be looking like the game.
Yeah. So if I'm HYG right here, what am I thinking about the next game? How do I adapt to this? Is the Hecarim the big problem here? Do we ban Yi, Gragas, and Hecarim? I mean, those bans look pretty solid from both sides, considering that Yi was Simgen's most played champ. And playing Hecarim, I can kind of see the playstyle now, how that is definitely kind of up his alley. But this will be a win for Demonic Ascension. Well played.
He gave them one more shutdown before he had to go. He said, I'll give you guys this one. I'll give you guys this one.
But an incredible 6-1 from the Ash and 9-4 from the Huey, 13 and was almost 4. Hecarim near the end, stellar performance. Again, I really think they won this in Champ Select. As long as they didn't get behind in lane, I think their comp was just going to be so much easier to execute.
Honestly, if they can get the same kind of composition again, they probably could just run that back and end up just doing the same thing over. If I had to say anything, it worked out for them, especially considering that. Also, that was particularly like I think that's partial to like how well the roams were too. You had Pharaoh constantly roaming top a lot, trying to help his top laner. You had Halfling roaming everywhere too. Timberland was able to sustain on their own until they got online. Simjim just being an absolute tear all over the place. They just showed absolute mat dominance and macro dominance, and that allowed them to really play the way they wanted to.
Yeah, and even Marbra had some good roams in and whatnot, and those any single digit interactions with Bonkers had in their first 5 minutes of the game, 10 minutes of the game could have sent that in any other direction. So a real tight game, but it seemed like Demonic Ascension just pulled a little bit of an early lead and just snowballed and snowballed, and they played it well. They didn't give up pressure too much. They kept it on. They were constantly either ganking or fighting for objectives. They had their heads on straight. They had a good game plan. That was good. That was fun to watch.
That was a real fun game to watch, honestly. And if you guys have any tidbits about the game, anything you guys want to say, comments, or all that good jazz, go ahead and put them into the chat. We do pay attention from time to time. Looks like you guys were having some fun with that game one, and I guarantee that the guys who played the games, at least from the Demonic Ascension side, must have had some fun as well. Is there any other comments about this game that you have? I personally just say just adapt to the jungle, maybe just drop a little bit more vision and just try to be, a little bit more careful. I don't think necessarily banning the jungle is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, you just gotta play around it more for sure. Sim Jim's definitely a highlight of their team, and you gotta you gotta watch out for him for sure. And that's a hard place to watch out for. He's not just in a single lane. You can't have eyes on him all the time. And having a very prominent player in the jungle to kind of help out all the lanes really does a lot for the team. I would say that's probably got to be easily second or first most important position when it comes to these 5v5 type games. 5v5 type games. What am I talking about?
It's always a 5v5 unless just a tree line just mystically came back.
In these constructed teams, for sure.
Right. In the more team setting, right? All right. With that said, are we ready to get into draft screen for game two?
Let's get it.
All righty. Draft screen for game two coming on in. And the very first ban we see from Demonic Ascension looks like they're on the blue. I believe they're blue side again.
Correct.
Yes, they are blue side again. So Demonic Ascension once again banning out for game one. They ban out game two. First ban Nocturne, and we see HYG repeating the ban once again with Gragas, Lilia being banned again on the side. I guess they're about to repeat half these same bans from game one. Senna being banned much earlier this time around, as it's the second ban for HYG instead of it being a later ban and or a pick or ban three. And we do see the Karma ban from Demonic Ascension, so they decided to repeat their same three bans. And HYG, what are you going to do? Yup, this time they decided instead of the Yi,
Yep.
the Hecarim was something that was much more of a problem. And so they decided to get rid of that off the back. And I'm guessing they're just not suspecting Simjim to pick the Yi. So if that's the case,
Personally,
then
obviously, champions in different hands do different things for sure. But I personally would much rather face a Yi than a Hecarim because of the CC that Hecarim provides to the team versus just the sheer damage that Yi can provide to the team. I think it's a much easier to be able to handle a Yi than it is to try to pin down a Hecarim, especially from a team fight standpoint.
and
It's
I
much easier to collapse on a Yi, but Nautilus coming out here for HYG, absolutely loving that. I don't expect Demonic Ascension to change their build too much, even with the Nautilus pick here.
no,
I
no,
think,
exactly. They're just adapting to the case in case like a Yi does happen to be something that appears. It seems like they're adapting to what could possibly happen. And Nautilus is a great adaptation to that, getting that point and click CC immediately onto him, making it hard to drop onto the 80 carry.
yeah, totally agree. And Samira is an absolutely insane champion, especially against Snowball and Nautilus, giving Samira plenty of CC to get those extra triggers off of. Love to see that. And Zillion, I'm not. Zillion Ash, Nautilus, Samira. Like face value, I'm looking at Nautilus Samira, and Zillion Ash has to make way less mistakes than HYG does to not get punished. HYG has a very bursty team when it comes to these squishy champions like Zillion and Ash. When Olaf instead of the Hecarim or the Yi. I think is a great pick. Still gives him some slow. Still gives him that carry potential. I'll be very interested to see what he builds Olaf as, or maybe it's a Olaf top. Either way, it's a great flex pick.
And HYG here picking up the Aria, great safe mid lane pick. So I actually kind of like the comp from HYG here at the moment because
Looks a
it's
lot better.
yeah, it does look a lot better, and it's definitely if you get those picks that you're probably looking for in the mid game, that's gonna be a lot more devastating, especially if you go into like an Ari Nautilus or Samira Nautilus or all three of them. So
Mhm.
we do see here HYG now still banning out that mid lane as Victor is the first ban for them. Again, they don't want Pharaoh on one of the stronger champions for him. And Demonic Ascension said that the Alawi was still a problem for them in that last game. So they decided to actually ban out something that could be a late game insurance for HYG as they decide to also get rid of the
Yep.
Hui
Yep.
from Pharaoh. So now they picked up his main three picks. So they pick it away from him with the Ari and then they decide to ban out the Hui and the Victor. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna put Pharaoh on here for the mid lane as the jungler is picked up for HYG in a Xin Zhao.
Yeah, I think banning his primary laner Victor is smart, and then getting the Hui out of there, I think, is really smart. If somebody shows proficiency on that champion, they can just do so much. From a lot of places, and so I think that makes a lot of sense. Get him off something that he's not comfortable with, because I'd guarantee he would have picked it this game if that were an option. But Rexoff for the follow up, which is confirming, I believe, the Olaf jungle. Which Olaf versus Zinzao, I think I'm in favor of Olaf there. But it's going to be neck and neck for sure. But yeah, I like the way HYG's team fights come a little bit together here. You got Nautilus and Zinzao for a good front line. Galio from Demonic Ascension with Ari being the only AP apparent champion right here. An interesting mid lane pick into the Ari.
I'm actually very curious as to I liked how you said that you pointed out is proving that this is going to be an Olaf jungle. Zach Top. Oh no, this is going to be oh man, we're about to get
I
a
thought
hell
I
of a
saw that in
game.
the chat earlier. Somebody was saying Zach Top is even worse.
And that was Beard literally saying it in like here too, was just like, no, it's even worse. So you got the two banes of the top lane existence right now going up against each other as we're looking like I just want to point out what you said before. Olaf is really good against Zinzao, especially with the ultimate him having to be within that field to do any damage to him. So if Olaf is actually the best person to potentially 1v1 against that Zinzao as well. But this is gonna be hilarious to watch this top side. And then I'm just curious to see how the Galio is going to work out in this particular composition. But
Yeah, I
from
like demonic. I definitely preferred last game's DA's team compared to this one. I think the
yeah,
sauce is still there. It's gonna be a little bit harder to pull up, but their game plan is still, engage, run in. They're not a counter engaged team. They are still definitely kind of pressing, but Zach Zen Nautilus is one hell of a front line for their damage dealers, which are going to be mainly Olaf and Ash. I think this is pre Galio buff as well. Is that correct?
I believe it's actually post buff.
Let's go. Okay, so this is the buff Galio. So we might see a little more beef from the Galio, but Olaf and Ash are gonna have to pull some real weight, damage wise, to get through this Nautilus
That's
Zinzao Zac to get to the Samir Ari. However, Samir is pretty close range. Ari's got to be in there, really, more or less. Um, these team fights should be pretty hectic.
what I'm
I can't
hoping
really
is maybe
say face
Halfling will go
value.
more towards like the AP side on his Zillion this time around. I feel that if you're gonna go this type of composition, I don't think going the full AP Galio route is gonna work, especially if you need to basically peel for Ash to do the majority of your damage. It's looking like Halfling's gonna have to go more AP damage duty here.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just a lot to, especially late game. It's going to be a lot to try to punch through to get to their carries. But Samir should be in the middle of it anyway. Um, so yeah, I'm down to get it. Let's get it.
All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. I think this is probably, I don't know if this, I have a prediction that this is gonna be a scrappier game, just because of the type of
Has to
champions
be.
that is on the type on HYG. Like you have a hyper engage in Zac, you have a hyper engage in Zinzao, you have a
Hmm.
hyper engage in Nautilus, you have a hyper engage literally Samira, and you have a hyper, like everybody has some type of way to engage themselves into a fight, and that's very difficult to go up against, especially when a good I think 3 or 4 of them is some form of CC.
Yeah, these jungle skirmishes from HYG are going to be nuts. I think that's going to be. Excuse me.
Oh, you're good. I'm just I agree. Like if they get caught in one brush, it's over. Olaf immediately getting caught though, a little bit of damage. I was hoping that the E would be the start for the Ari here. If they were looking to try to get like a level 1 kill, but Olaf taking down on the burn, able to flash in. Are they gonna be able to get that last auto? Someone needs a flash, misses the hook, but
Oh,
Rek'Sai gets the knock up, and it's not gonna lead to the death. So many flashes
No.
blown and all that, but the
Ari
first
sneaks
blood
it
is able to
in.
be secured by the Ari onto her, but she's gonna be giving up her life to her enemy laner as Nautilus is now trying to walk away. Marbra, keep walking. You're not going to get away. That's another 300 gold going over to Spoobert. We're already seeing the same 2-for-1 lead start from the beginning in the last game. Demonic Ascension trying to get this first early lead.
Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy seeing the Zach top here. And now that he's playing it, it kind of wants me to play it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for the top lane.
You're a terrible human being.
It's funny enough, as an Anivia main, absolutely loving that champion to death. I got the first time I faced against a Zac mid, I got rolled. I could do nothing. It was just so unfun to deal with. Because you just get so tanky that it takes my entire mana bar to kill you. That whole mage tank interaction. Um, but it seems like Rek'Sai's true damage is definitely showing through here, but they both have crazy amounts of heal. I totally spaced out on the heal that Rek'Sai has, and it is significant why he was, hanging with the Alawi for so often.
I was watching the
Um,
number. It was like plus 160 at a time. It was like, oh, being attacked,
yeah.
and it gets like plus 160 health. Like, what? Like early game, it said plus 35 right there. Like for early game, that's pretty big.
Yeah, that is being able to juggle that efficiently makes a lot of sense. And now I'm really seeing the appeal of the Rek'Sai top. Especially these manaless top laners, are really becoming popular.
Oh yeah, how do you that's really hard to outduel when someone's constantly healing like that.
And that's their only resource, that and cooldowns. If that's all they got to rely on, then that's one less stress and one way more to pressure your opponent if they have to rely on a different resource.
And right now, it looks like the bot lane is doing pretty okay. Timberland and Halfling able to push out the HYG bot lane back under their turret. I kind of suspected this from the short range type of lane that was going to be from the Samira Nautilus, but once they actually get in one big engage, it's not going to be fun if they can dodge out on those on the different CCs that's gonna come out from the Ashe and Zillion. Zillion having to flash the hook. I didn't think he was gonna hit him there, but he
Nope,
was not
it
risking
sure
it.
wasn't. It sure was not gonna hit, but better safe than sorry, I suppose.
Halfling was like, yeah, I'm not risking that.
Yeah, it was spooky. I mean, that was an opportune time for Nautilus to land that. If he did, I think that would have been an absolutely disgusting engage from the Samir there. They were all teed up. Ash was pushed out to the side. I think that was very much in their favor. This massive minion wave Zach is fighting in, trying to find an advantage on the Rek'Sai. This Rek'Sai just keeps healing. It's pretty ridiculous.
But it's like you basically have to make sure you take the other life of the Zac too at the end of it all. So like I mean you have to spend all that time killing the blobs and after that having to kill them again. If the if the enemy jungler's up there just at the right time, it could actually end up being it could be a pretty bad fight for Rek'Sai. So
And we have the DP coming from Bonkers to perhaps save the Zac blobs, and then you also have the fact that even Zac blobs can still proc Sunfire, which is hilarious. You know, so many people trying to kill the Zac blobs at 50 health, not knowing that he has Thornmail or Sunfire. He gets burned down.
Galio not knowing that Zenzel was there.
Down.
Bonker is going to be able to take that kill on to Golden Pharaoh, able to get that kill back from earlier. That was actually kind of crazy. I was not expecting that at all, but honestly, good job on TJ being in the right place at the right time and catching Pharaoh on one of his classic fighting times.
Yeah, he definitely went in. You know, the wave was against him. You know, it was an interesting time to go in, you know, sacrificing the wave to perhaps get some damage on the Ahri, but Bonkers did a great job of kiting and baiting it down towards that bush where Zinzao could easily interact with that lane. And Zinzao, again, just mid and now immediately bot, just absolutely showing his presence. Rek'Sai playing all the sneaky moves with the Zac up here, but Zac's regaining 300 health. I mean, what
Every
is that?
single
What?
time. The charm to disrupt it. Yup.
Very clutch.
From what I'm seeing, this is looking this game right now is looking much more even, and I think it's probably a comp difference at this point. Oh, he must know that he's there. Yep, he had the vision right there.
Yep, to see Nautilus coming up and Olaf was there coming down to try to help with that. That was some good rotations by everybody right there.
That was actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, that was
a very bad spot right here.
Oh, you don't want to be that far up against a full health Rek'Sai, and it's probably gonna be able to get those last two blobs before you can get away. Are you going to be able to E away? No. Is the flash going to have to come out? Jumps in on you under turret, flashes.
It's
the old bouncy house is able to do it, but
yeah.
nope.
Yeah, that was real good idea from the Zac, but just not quite enough damage and almost decent, you know, great perfect positioning for the backup or the knockup. That was really, really close. But Rek'Sai coming away with now 2 kills and 15 farm up, but Zac TPing back up to kind of bridge that gap a little bit. But Rek'Sai definitely showing his dominance here.
I don't think Perfy's discouraged at this point. It's just Zac just needs to keep building health over and over and over again.
That, oh my goodness, Bomby Cinder now putting in the work during these long fights, and sends out up here now for the Rek'Sai.
Perfect timing, TJ once again able to land it, jumps in on top of him, pulls in the Rek'Sai not able to escape. He already doesn't have flash up, so now the shutdown goes over to TJ as they're able to take over the Rek'Sai and get some revenge for Perfy up in that top side. That's actually looking pretty good. I think that right now TJ is showing a lot more presence in this game in comparison to the last one in the early game, and that's definitely making a big difference for them here.
Yeah. Yep. BRB.
Oh, he will be right back, but in that meantime,
in the meantime, you got me.
Yeah, I have my other casting partner here, Boo, who's been kindly silent in the background, just eagerly awaiting something to happen. Or some shit talk that we can possibly do at the same time. But we do see.
Sorry about that.
Oh, look at that! He's back just as quickly. I love that Soraka emote so much. Galio ultimate being used here, gonna miss. E being used to get away as the Zac's able to get under his turret, and so does Nautilus. And the arrow goes wide, not going to be able to get any more damage. Zinzao is now here. It is officially a 2v3 as the life is lost for the HYG support under the tower. But Zinzao is now here to make sure that Rek'Sai loses their life. Spoober is slain by TJ, and now it's an even 2v2. A little bit more health on the enemy side of Demonic Ascension here. but Zinzao showing no fear. The taunt lands, gonna be able to get a little bit more health on the Zac. Zac uses the ultimate to try to get a little bit more CC. Not gonna be enough, but TJ is able to go on a killing spree as he takes out Galio and the Ari. Able to clean up the kill on the Olaf there in the top side, and it's gonna be an overall, I want to say, win for the side of HYG in that fight, and they're still up ahead just over 500 gold.
Yeah, you love to see a 3-0 Zinzao, or win now, however you want to say it. It is definitely ideal stats for the Zinzao early. Not known for his late game play. 3-0 on the Zinzao is clutch. And then obviously 3-1 on the Ari Bonkers, now letting good roams and being a good presence on the board. What do you think, Boo? How do you think this is going to shake out?
You know, this one's a lot closer than the last one, so it's hard to say. I've got a soft spot for the Hung Young Gays, though, so my vote's with them. And TJ, I don't know, TJ just showed everyone what a big dick he had with that flash under tower. So I
And
respect
TJ
it.
right back up top side again, trying to get on in on this Rek'Sai. Spoober trying to get away. No flash, no escape. Still tanky enough to tank up the turret shot. Zac taking him up for him, and TJ going on that rampage.
Yeah, I really like Perfy on this Zac. I think the way he's executing his abilities and sequencing is really, really good. Galio getting a good taunt. Oh, on the Ari.
But the Ari over the wall, able to charm up the Olaf, trying to get away. TJ going unstoppable, saving his mid laner. The stun landing, but too little, too late, as now they're chasing down Olaf even more. Olaf does have the Ragnarok, but decides not to use it whatsoever. Instead, has the Zillion ultimate dropped onto him, able to land the double bomb and able to kill off Marbra. And with that said, it's gonna be them turning away as Olaf has to walk away, too low of health to try to contest these Void Grubs, but he's still sticking around, trying to see if maybe there's something he can do. Maybe get an axe. He does, able to take one of them, and now there's 3 people versus 1. TJ all alone under there with a Zillion bomb on him, but he jumps in on top of Olaf, and Perfy though able to sit there and save his jungler, and that ends up being a kill for Perfy on him as Rek'Sai also gets slain once again. TJ now dominating, able to continue taking the Void Grub as Galio now appears up here, trying to sit there and save, able to be disrupted. The E-Charm takes him out, use the taunt, but the hook lands, CC's him up, and now boom goes the dynamite as Bonkers takes that kill for him, and Galio going back to the gray screen.
Yeah, Pharaoh got manhandled right there. That was tough to watch. There wasn't a whole lot he could do other than just not go in. I think might have been his best decision. That was tough. He got, charmed out of the E. The W was good. We are seeing the Sork Shoes and Alternator Rush, and then another Amp Tone from the Galio. So this is definitely leaning towards more the AP Galio, which is good for the burst that they're going to need. But, with the lead that HYG has right now, I think it's going to be very hard for DA to come back from this.
This Zin and this Ari is going to become an absolute problem soon enough. Right now, Samira trying to engage, able to get a little bit more, but cleanse, flash, not going to mean anything as the damage still comes through, and Halfling's able to take that kill onto Samira.
That might have been a bit greedy from Jeffrey Crazy. I think I've seen that move before, but it was an honest attempt, but not quite having the damage to back up the Ashe. Ashe having tier 2 boots and Noon Quiver and just a pickaxe. Oh, I guess a Dirk too on Samira's board. Down 20 CS, that's really tough.
Ooh, now Zinzao unfortunately caught up in the middle of a bunch, but still going to try to take some lives with him, and he doesn't have the rest of his team with him. That's finally him going down as the shutdown goes over to Timberland for the side of Demonic Ascension as they take out that absolute man beast that was TJ in the jungle.
Yeah, that was important. Zillion ult there, given Zinzao none of the resets or anything like that from the kill there is pretty important. That's gonna be a great way to start shutting down the Zinzao. Is if you can just stall the person he's trying to kill long enough, then usually your team can kind of come back when the ult is down and clean up pretty quickly. Definitely not
TP appearing in the blue side here. Galio's here to help out his top laner, able to land the taunt, but the Zac does still have the blobs, uses the Let's Bounce to go ahead and land a little CC on him. Still tanking a lot of damage, and he's actually surviving this in a whole 1v2 situation. They're trying to kill him off, the CC being used, Flash being jumped out as he's going to have the Rek'Sai ultimate come out, able to land the rest of the damage, and now this is probably going to be the end of Perfy here. But that doesn't really matter too much. Galio was able to take that kill, and he was able to get them to use a lot of resources up there. Flashes, They used his own flash, but he ended up getting 2 ultimates out of that for the 2v1 and lasted a long time, wasting a lot of time. And I believe they were able to get that Drake for the side of HYG, so it was actually ultimately worth.
Yeah, Zach.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Bonkers, unstoppable, taking out Pharaoh in the 1v1, the solo dolo going over to him, and we have a fight going on now. There's a 3v2 in the bot side. TJ getting back the kill from the death that he had earlier, and Marbra taking up so much turret damage, unfortunately going to lose his life, but they're able to take out the bot side at the end of it all.
Yeah, that was pretty poor mental from Pharaoh trying to walk back into lane, face checking an Ari with half health. Like, that doesn't usually go well, especially as Demonic right now. She is just feeling the damage right now. That was probably a misplay for sure. But yeah, again, still back and forth. You know, DA is not saying they're going to let a fight. Rek'Sai still holding his own, still in the top lane. Galio, despite, you know, having 6 deaths, is still an important part of this game. He's just got to get that first item down, and maybe we start seeing a little bit more. But, you know, Samira's got Collector. You know, she's not outrageously fed, you know, so it's not as crazy as an item this early. But again, the double gank from the top for the Zag, yeah.
But this time, Nautilus was there to help. So there's no 2v1 to be had for Perfy up top side. And this time he can just go ahead and focus on himself, as Nautilus was there to go ahead and help. Galio attempting to use the taunt, not going to be able to land it onto Xin Zhao there. But no charm landed either, so there's not going to be any kind of engage to be had in this part of the game. And instead, they end up taking the Scuttle Crab in the mid lane. And it looks like there's a potential fight for the Rift Herald about to happen here. Nope, everyone's disengaging from it, so no Rift Herald to be had. I don't think it's necessarily the most important objective anymore, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, this Rift Herald this game at least doesn't seem like a whole lot of effect. I think last game it had a lot more snowball potential. But I mean, obviously Herald helps, but I don't think that HYG can really abuse it like they would like to.
We do have a top lane versus top lane support versus top lane support, but now the jungler here from the side of the HYG is going to be able to go ahead, get the Zillion ult out. The Ashe ultimate goes wide, so no one's there. Now it's 4 members of HYG at the top side, able to take out the top laner, and it looks like right after, actually it's going to be the lane support first, and then their top laner, as HYG to Bonkers is able to take the kill on the Rex side, and Xin Zhao, I believe, is the one who got the kill on the Zillion. That's going to be 2 more kills traded up in that top side, and looking like this Rift Herald is going over to the side of HYG, but Galio and Olaf are not going to let it go free.
You know, really smart pressuring the Zillion first to avoid any shenanigans with the ult. I think that was really smart. But Galio goes in and gets a 2-man taunt. Olaf trying to burst down the Ahri.
And it's going to be able to be enough as Olaf is able to take him out here. I wasn't expecting such a quick engage from them, and they actually had to do something. But Galio's going to try to fight for it. Red team ends up taking the Rift Herald, and unfortunately Galio ends up losing his life. Not without the Ahri giving up such a big shutdown.
Yeah, we saw the 1,000 gold go up for the Galio, I believe, or for the Olaf right there. So that's definitely putting him in a better position, getting his second item halfway done. Definitely what DA is looking for here, but you know, them giving away Herald, you know, just gives them more of a bit of pressure on the map. Still no towers taken across the map, but the top blue tower is looking rough as we come up on that mark. Plate's already down, so we should be seeing the first tower going down any moment now.
I think at this point they do want to try to help get this Zac opened up to roaming around the map if possible. So if anything, it would be smart. Now blue team able to get that first turret, even though the Rift Herald was given over to HYG. So it would be very wise maybe to open up the map up in this top side by utilizing that Rift Herald and giving a free turret right over to your top laner.
That's absolutely insane healing from the Zac. That almost makes me mad.
Dude, they've been just treating here. I could literally speak for like 30 full seconds, and they're still sitting there just hitting each other.
At most of them half health. You know, like Rek'Sai didn't change hardly at all, and Zac went from quarter health to half health to quarter health to half health like 3 times in that fight. But Zac getting low here for the Rek'Sai ult. The execute will collect the Zac.
Yeah, I think
a lot of go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Zac is not anticipating the execute on the ult, and that's causing a little bit of an issue. Cleanse used by the Samira as a big fight is engaging. We saw the TP come down, but TJ is now here to go ahead and engage, is able to get onto him. CCU move from the Ragnarok, but Jeffrey Crazy able to get his first kill onto the enemy Olaf as a double kill. We do see the Collector start to show its power as Samira now coming online, getting those first 2 kills, and now the fight being disengaged means that the Drake is going over to HYG.
Yeah, it's pretty clear right now that DA isn't communicating as they were his last game. HYG being able to four-man collapse on the two-man gank that came down from DA and DA's bot lane remaining unresponsive. Definitely some miscommunication there on when to execute and when not. You kind of feel I feel like their decision making is not as strong or certainly not as confident or not as certain right now. And when you're losing, you still gotta be decisive. You still gotta make those plays.
I think I want to give you one more piece of credit here. And I think this is something that is I'm not sure if it's really being like pointed out, but it started happening very early on in the game that Halfling likes to roam a lot and will be roaming all over the map if possible. This time around, we see the Nautilus trying to match as many roams as the Zillion does, and trying to roam along with them. So he's always there for a fight with them too, which then made a lot of like these topside fights be able to go more in the favor for Perfy than compared to the previous game. Alongside also now without the Hecarim being there to give that little bit of extra, extra engage, extra CC, extra damage, they are able to now also resist the fights. So it's like the draft changes while also having a support like mentality change by having Marble roam a lot more definitely helped to match against Demonic Ascension, and that's why we're seeing HYG make a much bigger win here too.
That's an absolutely great point. The adaptiveness of HYG coming into the second game, doing a very good job of pointing out their strengths and trying to break down their strongest points instead of trying to highlighting their weaknesses, just trying to dampen the actual presence that DA is having right now. And I think that was a very good, like you said, an excellent adaptation as we're currently seeing the 9-1 Zinzao, getting the Hecarim out of the game. Even personally, even if it's a challenger,
that was a nice land. Ultimate being able to land charm, a lot of damage right on the Ash. The collector get collected like a trading card as you're taking out TJ now. Also going on a rampage. This is a big old fight, and there's a lot of lives lost for the Demonic Ascension side, and it meant none lost for the side of HYG as the boy band collects their Grammy, and they're looking for the Baron next. If they're not just gonna barrel down the mid lane, it's a perfect 5-0 in HYG. Looking strong.
Yeah, as long as HYG can keep up this pressure, I don't see a way DA can get back into this comfortably. Galio is an awful champion to try to come back from. If you're not going tank, you see he finished Lichbane. It's not going now some Magres. But when you got, I guess it's not the worst, but, Zach isn't putting out a whole lot of damage for the Galio to be worried about. And Ari, already does true damage. So the Galio here, as far as like the Magres shield and the AoE Magres ult, not providing as much help as you would hope for it for. I think that was a really interesting pick for this comp. I'm not really sure that's what they needed, but again, 100% back HYG on getting out the Hecarim. I'd rather deal with a Yi and a Olaf every other day rather than a Hecarim loathe what I just saw last game.
We're quite literally seeing like the roles being swapped here. This time it's TJ on the absolute dominating side in the jungle. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not a fan of AP Galio in any capacity. I've never been a fan of AP Galio in any capacity, and this is just like, I know that's my personal bias, but it's just one of those, it's just like the Lichbane doesn't seem like it's really working out too well, and it's more like,
personally, the last time I think AP Galio was good was pre-rework when his W was a point-and-click stun that had like a 90 or 80% AP ratio, and you could run Deathfire Scraps and just burst somebody before they had a chance to respond. League was different then.
So literal nuking Galio is what you're talking about.
It was nuke Galio. But outside of that, going Aroa and then possibly like a Riftmaker, I think is really, really neat approach for Galio. At least the Roa.
Zillion didn't even have time to pop his ultimate as he immediately gets popped, and Bonker is able to take out Timberland there. We're seeing a complete turnaround from HYG as they were able to take out the bot lane of Demonic Ascension there in the mid lane. And right now, Pharaoh looking to try to save somebody, but he's not going to be able to save anybody, not even himself. Jeffrey Crazy now going godlike.
Would you say Jeffrey Crazy's going crazy?
As we see Demonic Ascension barreling down into the mid lane now, and they're probably going to be able to end the game off this as long as Perfy can actually distract Olaf from backing. I don't think there's any way. Actually, instead of trying to distract him, they're going to try to kill him as TJ was helping him chase
Mhm.
But he manages to get on the opposite side of the jungle, and now he's just gonna, I guess. Okay, good. He's backing. I was like, are you gonna just execute yourself? Because that would be pretty strange to do.
Yeah, this
Um,
late in the game for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Zach is an absolute menace. That build with both burn items, the AP and the Magriz one. I am such a huge fan of Unending Despair. What a cool item. Or no, that's not the AP one. Sorry, that is the AoE heal one. I really enjoy that item.
I just think it's gonna be like I'm personally a fan. Like I'm gonna say that's my favorite item is Leandri's, and then it would just be really funny just stack a Leandri's on Zach if it actually works,
Yeah,
and just make them all
base damage
burn.
insane. Yeah, the base damage on Zach's abilities is already strong. You throw in a little bit of AP, and especially the long term fights,
Oh yeah,
Blandries and the burn effects, whatnot, you'll just start melting people. It's very similar to like the Amumu build. That's just like a burn build, but still tanky. It's just absolutely starts to melt. All you can do is live, and Zach's healing to a competent to in addition to all that, especially when he gets the Spirit Visage built. Like I don't see him going down, by anybody's build. It took forever for even Olaf to try to heal the Zach, and Olaf was running out of mana.
I just also want to point out the fact that the Zach was constantly fighting with the Rek'Sai this entire time and did not once build a Thornmail and or Bramble Vest. While for a good majority of their fights, Rek'Sai was repping that Bramble Vest. So it was
Yeah.
actually pretty insane to watch. The Zach was able to fight around that and continuously still be able to survive.
Yeah, you can do everything else except auto him. And Zach doesn't need to with the low CD on his W and then all the disrupts and whatnot. Yeah, and there's not one lick of heel cut on the side of HYG. They just don't need it. They're too strong. They're strong already. They got the damage to back up their engages.
Heel cut would just be like the topping on, just the icing on the cake for them. If it just helps them eviscerate people faster slightly.
Yeah, and really it's only the Olaf healing, and then it does cut the Zillion heal. If Zillion had a little bit more AP behind him, you would see that in pretty serious effect.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I was really hoping to see more of a tankier Galio with a Zillion being more on the AP side, just to at least give themselves that little bit of extra damage. And as we see the Sorelias and the Brandle Glass, and so it's the more of the obviously supportive Zillion
Yep.
build here, which good for CDs and everything, especially with the ultimate being as long as it is. You want to attempt to try to get that cooldown, and now we see the fight here. Engage as the hook lands onto the Galio from the Nautilus. A lot of damage coming out, but TJ going unstoppable as he was able to go ahead and kill him. But after being resurrected immediately, Galio gets defeated and brought to the gray screen by TJ as he gains that double kill. And now Demonic Ascension looking for their entrance into the base, or not Demonic Ascension, HYG looking for the Demonic Ascension's base as they were able to take out 2 people and lose none. And they do see the mid lane being the target now as the Nexus turrets are starting to slowly fall down, and TJ goes godlike 13-1. The TP coming in from the Zac because Rek'Sai is trying to turn around to go ahead and help his team. He was under distraction. Perfect was just keeping you up topside, Spoobert. And unfortunately, your team's going to have to give this up. But we're going into a associate game 3 as game 2 goes to the boy band HYG.
Yeah, that was hype. That was an absolute wonderful adaptation by HYG. And as much as it was a wonderful adaptation by HYG, DA did not bring as strong as a team fight to the table as I really hoped they would.
They did not
And
bring as
so,
strong of a comp, I think, as they
right.
did from the previous game, and that did have to encompass some of the bans. But that doesn't. I don't think that says that. This doesn't say definitively that HYG was stronger than Demonic Ascension. I don't want to say like immediately. Oh yeah, these two teams they're definitely like, heads and tails on a coin. Like no, it's definitely gonna have to take a little bit more time. But I think comp wise though, they definitely did get draft capted, and that's primarily what really ended up happening. You were pointing it out in the beginning. You weren't really a big fan of Demonic Ascension's draft at this point, and there were certain things where like it just we already were calling it. HYG's draft looked significantly better this time around. Their picks and bans were definitely a lot smarter, and it translated to this absolute dominating game.
Yeah, I think that said for itself. I think HYG adapted well, and the results showed. And I think that's really I think it's really what we just saw is HYG's ability to find out what DA's strengths were and cull them, which was well done.
Yep, and again, I want to give a lot more props to Marbras being able to literally match the roams of Halfling, who likes to roam a lot, and doing that enabled you to not only be on the map more, but also give your top laner a lot more presence so then they didn't die as much. Give your jungler a lot more ability to be not ganged up on in the jungle by Pharaoh and by Spoobert. So, or not Pharaoh, Spoobert, sorry, yeah, or Pharaoh and Simjim. So it just made it a lot better for HYG. I think that was a much stronger game 2 showing, and they're probably gonna have a hell of a game 3 that we have coming up ahead.
Yeah, we saw DA's communication break down a little bit, and I really hope to see that if they get behind it, they can still kind of keep it together and be able to find a way back. But yeah, this next draft is going to be very important. I believe this is going to be good.
Alrighty, if that's the case, then I think we're all ready for game 3 draft.
Yep, I'm ready to go. Absolutely.
Let's go for game 3.
Now, if I'm DA, and they are deleting with the Nocturne ban, which is fine. I don't think the bans were really the problem here. I think they did. HYG did well to still to ban the Hecarim. I don't think there was one single problem on HYG that really contributed. I mean, they committed a lot of resources top to try to get the Zac behind, and I mean he was still an absolute monster tank later. Um, so maybe you throw. I mean, even a Zac ban doesn't really feel very right there. I think it's really just a comp diff. They really got to get better this game about putting their comp and a little more easy, more to execute. Like the first game, easy, engage and whatnot. They need to find something similar. If I'm HYG, I'm not changing a thing.
And then Demonic Ascension making a change to their bans this time around. And it actually ends up being Zinzao getting banned, while we also see the Hecarim banned once again by HYG. It's actually really funny because I remember correctly, at least for the years that I've like seen TJ in different leagues between Press R and here, he's also been a pretty good Hecarim player, if I remember correctly. Or am I wrong? So
Yeah,
like
no,
it's actually kind
TJ's
of
got some
interesting.
pockets for sure.
Yeah, no, so I'm pretty interested to see that Hecarim like TJ take away the Hecarim from himself even. So it's actually pretty interesting. But again, someone can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I definitely remember TJ being like a Hecarim player. So I mean, either way, we do see the Karma actually going through this time around. So the Karma ends up getting picked up by DA, and I believe that's going over to Halfling, and HYG responding with the Ari and the Nautilus.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hellstrom, that we didn't get to play Silver Scrapes. But we'll sing it for you while we're loading in, and I think that'll do it. But Ari Nautilus, yeah, lock it in. I think it was real. I liked HIG from that. That was very strong. Good pick synergy, good jungle skirmishes, good jungle picks, and even in the open lanes, Ari's reach that she has is really nice to get in and out and help set up stuff. Karma now coming through finally for the DA. These early pick on the Karma, which is cool, and a Zed coming in from the blind pick Pharaoh. Whoa, that is showing.
That's an
Yeah,
ego pick if I've ever seen one.
yeah. The cojones on Pharaoh to first to blind pick that is pretty bold.
I mean, I don't think he's technically blind picking it because he's picking it into
Oh, I guess
Ari,
Ari, sure,
but
right.
it's still like I don't know. Just the history of Zed right now is just
Yeah,
not a fun
yeah.
one.
If you're not Faker, I'm not sure anybody should be touching that champion. To be
Zed hasn't felt that
honest.
type of grace since Faker had that play.
Yeah.
Like Riot purposely keeps that champion weak because they don't know what to do with him. So it's just like, and I thought like Mordekaiser was bad, and it's like, oh yeah, we don't know how to balance Zed anymore. And it's just like, oh well, okay, so this champion shouldn't even exist. It's like, it's
Alright, so
that and
we
Yumi are like the two champions that are like candidates right now for being deleted from the
Bring
game.
back old Yumi. I'll die on this hill. I won't.
No, just delete the champion from the game.
No, I love.
Oh my goodness,
Bring
that
it
was a
back.
toxic cat, no
I
doubt.
love that cat. I still love the cat, but I love the old cat.
Aatrox getting banned as a new one for HYG, trying to limit the top laners there. Still letting the Rek'Sai through, still thinking that it's not a big problem as far as laning goes. Perfy still feeling pretty comfortable against it. Viego getting banned away from HIG and responding with the Vi pick. Another great synergy going along with the Nautilus, the Ari, and even the Jin roots. They got a couple good picks, long range CC for the Vi to set up on. And not too many tanks on DA's side for the Vi to be super worried about trying to punch down. I think you can go a pretty damage-heavy build with the Vi, but Shyvana, if I still remember right, the only realistic build still is AP Shyvana.
I just about, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. AP Shyvana is absolutely disgusting. It does so much damage, but that's all it does, unfortunately. It just does a ton of damage. Yeah, and that's the whole gimmick.
But you don't need to be tanky if you just one-shot them.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but you also can get one shotted, so
I
it's just like
love the Volibear pick here. I think
I'm
that is such a neat pick here.
y'all are gonna hate me, but I'm going HYG on this one. Yeah,
This
you're gonna hate me, but I think I'm going HYG on this one. Just the way their comp is set up, this is scary.
Yeah,
You-
I'm right there with you. You know, I don't think I'm gonna hate you that at all. As far as face value team comps go, HYG has again a very easily executable team fight. You know, any one of them can land some CC on. It's just the first one they all can kind of go. There's not one person on DA's side that I don't want to engage on. There's not like a Maokai or an Orin kind of willing to frontline for that. And even the Rex side, you know, can only be so tanky against that. The only downside I would guess say for HYG is, you know, Jin's probably not the highest DPS ADC that you could probably throw in here, but again, you got damage in the Vi. That's probably going to be, you know, I think Volibear still builds like a actually ton of AP now. I think they got plenty of damage to compensate for the Jin to allow some more utility ADC. DA, if I'm DA looking like how am I going to win this game, it's got to be pressing the Vi and the Volibear for pretty much everything they're
Mhm.
worth. I think this is going to be a very top lane center game for DA, and it's going to be Ashe and Karma just trying to hold out in the bot lane, not make too many mistakes for the Vi and the Nautilus to punish. And as far as Zed versus Ari, you know, it's my gut goes with Ari because it's just a safer champ. But if Pharaoh has the fingers, the fingies, it's scary for sure. But I mean, Zed has a better chance of, you know, ulting the Jin and the Ari. You know, even Ari's got a ton of mobility, but not too many great targets for the Zed to ult safely on the side of HYG.
My main concern is like again, it's more of the ego pick, and the ego pick generally once the ego gets struck, if things start to go downward, we can see how it's more. I think this is going to be more of a mental game that's going to get played by HYG, and if HYG plays the mental game right, we're going to see a lot
Yeah,
of booming happening from the
I
side of
think
DA. Unfortunately,
I think past 22, 25 minutes, I don't think there's a prayer that DA has against HYG's team. I think they just round themselves out really well. I think DA has to snowball really hard to try to get some pressure in this game.
I'm curious to see how this bot lane is going to go. They've been very consistent over the last 2 games, so I think from here though, it's going to be the top side is going to be very volatile.
Yeah.
Very volatile.
Especially Volibear not being as tanky as Zach or the other champ he played. I think, yeah, we're gonna get a lot more attention top lane. But yeah, I'm ready to get into it. Let's see what they got.
I'm ready to go.
We gotta play
I
Silver
guess I'm.
Scrapes for Hailstrom first.
They deserve it. They do. That was a great game.
I will pull that up for them real quick.
Man.
If we are not for our fans.
Don't say we don't do anything nice for you guys. And if we're doing something nice for you, you know what you can do? You can also sub tier to Valhalla Esports. Use them Prime subs, or you can just go ahead and use a tier 1 with us. Every sub that you use supports the league, gives us a little bit more things to work with, and makes the league better each and every week. So go ahead and use your Prime subs here, especially since we're giving you this silver scrapes right here.
Looks like we are approaching game 3 of the Demonic Ascension. And now, when you said hot young gays, uh,
It's hung young gays. Bonkers
hung
has-
young,
Oh, there.
hung young,
The
even
amount of
better.
times Bonkers has lashed me for calling them the hot young gays, I've lost track.
Noted. Okay.
What's so? I mean, either way, it. You know what?
You know,
You can be hung without being hot, so I guess that makes sense.
True.
I guess they're more
Amen.
focused on the physical attraction than the length of the ween, you know.
Yeah.
Spicy
Ooh,
flash
that's
hook
a
still
woo!
gets
Oh
the
my
Shavana
God!
on the long range. Volibear.e not quite lands on the Shavana, but we do burn a flash from the Karma.
That was actually insane to see that flash, like the flash hook, and I did not expect it to actually hit anybody, but the last pixel managed to just draw him right in.
Yeah, I'm not sure Barbara expected that to land either.
He's
What's
like,
the
"Oh wait, I'm
opposite of
going
sit
in."
down, Mr. President? Because Karma didn't set fuck you, Mr. President.
Oh.
We're not playing. I thought that's the whole point of Karma was to play protect the president. Like that's the. Oh no, that's Lulu. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's Lulu.
That's Lulu. Lulu's so good at it too. And you have all these like Janna, Nami, whatever. Lulu is like by far the coolest support for an ADC. I think that is the essence of support.
I'm a support main, and to this day, I still can't play Lulu. It's just one of those champions I just can't get. I just don't understand.
I can play Lulu. I don't mind Lulu. I find Lulu incredibly boring. And this is coming from a Yumi Soraka player.
You are just the cancer of the earth, aren't you?
No, it is what it is.
Then again, if we're league players, we're literally
We're
a
all
stage of
degenerates.
cancer ourselves.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
It's like
Aria.
there's stage 3, then there's league players.
There's terminal and then there's league.
It's pretty low key event so far here in the early game. Just fair trades heading back and forth.
Ooh, that was a
Volibear
smack though, Jesus.
chunking Rek'Sai for almost half his health in just
No
a couple
fear.
abilities.
No fear.
Great hug by the Nautilus coming in on to Halfling. Not a whole lot of follow-up for the shot. Finally getting it down into Ash, but getting a fair poke back, getting the root down.
Ooh.
But that minion and Ash damage definitely chipping away at Jin there.
That was very close. Oh man, love seeing fights like that. When you're just ever so close in the bot lane. I think that's just because I've been a support main since I started playing League. So just like seeing fights like that irritate the living hell out of me when you're just like, oh, we could have done so much more.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sure Karma wishes they had Ignite instead of the exhaust there, and there's just so many different things going through their head in that moment.
All
I
the
would
what
like to
ifs.
point. Go ahead, Boo.
Oh, I was just gonna say all the what ifs, the what could have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
I do want to point out that although I think you would normally see first strike on a Zed, that would being the more, I guess, ego-based rune, he is playing a little bit more consistent with the electrocute. So that is certainly something of note. Ash getting rocked by the Nautilus in the Jhin again, but Jhin not being able to provide a whole lot of support after that just because of the low health. But Ash now coming down below 300 kind of makes Jhin feel a little safer coming up.
Yeah, they were to get a little bit more fight. Another sum drawn out by Nautilus.
Ooh,
and
Nautilus
another hook.
fishing these hooks left and right. Fourth shot coming down on the Karma. Second stun coming down on the Ash. Jhin with 2 shots left. One more, but will not find it. It has fourth shot. Flashes forward and will get first blood onto the Ash. Hanging around with the 4-shot looted.
I was not expecting the 4th shot to actually get the kill there, but I'm guessing it does. It just probably does more damage the more health that they're missing. So yeah, that kind of works.
I mean, she only had 100 health left, and even still, fourth shot, even, level 4 is bound to do, some good chunk of damage. And 100 health is just too low. Karma getting the root down on Nautilus, though, with Shyvana here is a little bit of support, but an early game gank from Shyvana, not having a whole lot of presence, especially after the Jhin root, but Nautilus going back in just for a little tickle onto the Shyvana there. Vi now trying to find a way on the Shyvana, catching her out in between Nautilus and Jhin. Shyvana flashes away, and that will be the end of that engagement.
That did not look like much fun to try to do. Like to get an early gank from Shyvana and unfortunately it not lead to anything is probably something that you don't want to see.
Well, it's not like she's really known for her early game also, especially AP Shyvana. Both of them actually need, at least some fair amount of time, 6 mainly, to be relevant.
That's what I mean by like it kind of feels bad because Shyvana attempting to make something happen before it just kind of slows down to Shyvana's tempo. So it just feels a little Zed going in with the ult, not able to get anything else down, but Vi is there ready to try to get the last tick of the Vault Breaker, not gonna be able to get it, but it ends up taking out the ult and the flash and ignite from the Zed there. Tried doing his combo a little too quickly and unfortunately ended up not working out.
Rek'Sai getting pretty cheeky with the Volibear. Volibear getting now a nice heal off that W in the middle of that interaction. That was looking really scary for the Volibear if Rek'Sai had pulled the trigger on that ult.
I think right now we're still looking at a very even game. HYG having a slight lead up there with just under just sitting at just 1,000 gold. As they also end up red side though, HYG able to secure that one Void Grub for themselves, but the Dragon is being traded for the 3 up top as I believe it's a Cloud Drake is what's being secured right now. No, Mountain Drake is what's being secured right now for the side of DA.
Yeah, you certainly like to see grubbies, even at 6 minutes, go down. That's ideal. Ooh, Volibear getting caught out by the Rek'Sai here. The ult. Oh, Nautilus missing the flash hook, but Rek'Sai missing the. I'm actually not sure what I just saw right there.
Unfortunate, even though the hook missed, used the ultimate to attempt to get out, but it looked like after just jumping in, got CC'd, and there was nothing else the Rek'Sai could do at that point. No other ways of escaping, and that ended up leading to their death.
Gotcha. Yeah, Volibear was low health, and then he wasn't. I'm not really sure what pushes that, but well played on the side of DA to pull, or HYG to pull the dub on that.
That ultimate will do it for you. He was able to get that little bit extra health and survive there, and it ultimately led to him just actually making this be a win for them. But
Zed definitely presenting some prominent damage with the pickaxe against the Ahri there. A couple of those WQs, and she's easily in ult range. But Zed's still not going to find a way to really get ahead here soon, or he's not going to have very many targets to go on. Getting 3v1 here in the mid lane, Zed will go down to 3 members of HYG. Shyvana now still ultless, getting hooked down by the level 4 Nautilus. Again, Marbra with these heavy roams. Halfling trying to match it too, just coming up with much less, as Nautilus has 3 assists, but now Volibear going in, and Vi now going in on the Shyvana, but the Ash ult comes in
Ooh,
from
nice Ash
downtown with a
ulti,
long
but
range.
not.
Jin with the ult to secure the kill onto the Shyvana on the first trigger, canceling and getting that increase or decreased cooldown on the ult.
I love seeing that the gym was there at the right place at the right time, and now you're starting to get a little bit more kills onto Jeffrey Crazy this time around, much earlier in comparison to when like he had to basically wait to go full collector before he could actually get the items he need, before he could start getting the kills he wanted. But this time around, it's just much better, and we do see a little 1v1 in the top side going on. And Rex side this time having to run away, not wanting to stick around against that Volibear.
Yeah, the consistent damage, I guess, from the Volibear passive mixing with the energy from Rek'Sai can be pretty frustrating, I guess, from a regenerating health perspective. I think Volibear has some pretty safe ways, including the shield and the heal, to these short trades be in the favor of Volibear.
Just overall, I
Shyvana
guess.
now looking top, though, with the ult. First gang with the ult, but Volibear is 2 levels above her. Will she have the CC?
ability
No,
to
does
do
not
so.
look like they're going to be able to collapse on it, but Zed was there just for the uptouch. They actually did get some CC onto the Volibear. Ari just picking up some extra waves in the mid lane.
And that's looking like an overall win. And that's looking like an overall win for HYG once again. This time able to waste the time of the mid laner from Demonic Ascension, forcing them up towards them. That's 3 people up towards topside with no objective to be claimed. So that was just a lot of wasted time and a lot more for them to be able to be used on the side of HYG.
Yeah, I'm a little impressed here still with Pharaoh. His ability to not take too much damage from the Ari during this lane. It's very easy for Zed to misplace a shadow and for Ari to punish that. And yep, and here we go. Zed shadow down, Zed shadow ults. And we have the 1Q landing on the Ari, but Vi is here now with the downtown ult after he teleports to his last shadow under tower. Vi needing to take no more tower shots to live, but now Shyvana here for their turn gank on the top, gets the ult down. Volibear ults on top of himself, but Rek'Sai in the execute. But Shyvana will get tower shotted. You know, level 6 still, not having a whole lot of health to be able to tower dive level 9s.
Yeah, that's not gonna be not gonna be easy for Shyvana, especially if you're going that AP route. You don't have that tankiness to be able to resist all that extra damage coming from towers. So if you got to remember, if you're gonna be playing AP, you're going in there for burst and get out. You're not going in there to try to win the whole thing. Like, you're not trying to go in there and be the tank of the situation. That's just not what you are made to do.
Well, I think what we saw there was Rek'Sai going initially and tanking, but when Rek'Sai ulted, Shyvana grew aggro, and I think that's where some communication failure existed. But now Ash getting the kill onto the Jhin in the bot lane with assist from Karma, and Ari cleaning up the Shyvana in the mid lane. So just back and forth, trying to get presence all over this map.
These guys have absolutely no fear at this point. It's just HYG wants to continue that lead that they had from the previous game and keep that momentum going. And they're doing so here, as this time they're able to claim all 6 Void Grubs for themselves. And there was no other Drake to be claimed, so now they actually have the ability to fight for this next Drake and prevent any type of Drake stacking from the side of Demonic Ascension from happening.
Yep. All HYG has to do for you now is just play safe. You know, it's in DA's court to be proactive and make some plays to try to get some gold on some champions that, you know, can make a difference. I don't think Zed's it. I think they really have to pay for the Ash again, but my lord, you know, oh me, oh my, what is it, crawdad feet and chicken pie? It is going to be hard for that Ash to live through the Vi, the Jhin, the Ari, the Volibear. Like, there's just so much potential for her to get caught with a lot of pressure on her damage-wise.
Like, I'm scared because it's just like all of a sudden Vi decides that they want to just, oh yeah, I want to press R on you. Oh, well, guess what? So can Nautilus. Oh, I can't get past them? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and be perfy and press R as Volibear. Oh, wait a second. You're trying to get away? Press R. Open the curtain as Jhin. There's just way too much going on. And it's just like, as we just see right there, a little bit more lockdown. They're just able to turret take them. Open the curtain. Gonna, unfortunately, get slain by the turret, TJ. But Timberland's still gonna lose his life in the end there. And Zed trying to go ahead and outfight the Ari, but it's not gonna be enough. Ults both used by both players, but it's gonna end up being bonkers.
Hilarious note on that is that Vi got executed. Ash did not get the gold for that kill, just the experience. So that is an absolute dub for HYG there.
Oh yeah, no, they're sitting real happy right now, insanely happy with the way that just ended up working out.
Unending despair from the get-go from Volibear, trying to get some more of that heal in with the shield and these, long fights, trying to be able to match up with Rek'Sai.
I honestly don't think that like right now the Volibear really has to be too worried about that. It's still a pretty good matchup. Volibear now gonna have to turn around though. Shyvana's there. Ult used by the Shyvana, gonna try to go in, uses the E, get away. The drop from the E to shield him a little bit. Ult comes in, extends the health, and is gonna land that damage. The Rek'Sai ultimate brings him right under the turret, and Rek'Sai now trying to run away. Not gonna be enough. Perfect, able to take out Spoobert.
That was a great hold by Vi there, waiting for the Rek'Sai to pop up. That was a great delay on the Vi Q there. Great decision making. Way to stay calm. Way to stay in the moment. That was well done. That could have easily split their aggro and not gotten the Rek'Sai there, but well done on Vi to catch that Rek'Sai was ulting and waited for for him to pop up and save the Volibear. That was real clutch.
I'm really loving what these guys are doing. They're really showing that this time that they're gonna run away with this game. The first game was not something that they just kind of needed to download the information on their opponents, and now they finally gotten it and it's starting to show prowess. The Zed now ulting onto Ari. Ari trying to now ult to get away, but Zed out of ammo, out of time. Bonkers going on a rampage, able to take him out solo dolo in the mid lane.
Yeah, Zed used both shadows there almost back to back and gained very little ground. I think with just despite the Zed being 0-2 at the time and Ari being 3-0 at the time, there was still a very solid chance for Zed to get the kill there.
Oh, most definitely.
He missed up his
Yeah.
flash because he did
Yeah.
flash in that fight as well.
Yeah, he used all three mobility options that he has, and still couldn't quite hang on to the Ari. I think he might have panic picked a little bit there, like he was saying, the flash there. But still, even goes to show that even down, all that gold and all that experience, and mental, that he is still able to find those openings. But Nautilus here now getting run down by three members of DA here. A solid dub for them to get back from this 3-10 setback.
Right now, that's basically what they're gonna need is just some really decent picks on their side, especially since you have this Zed here who, even though is 0-3, could definitely pop one of the carries on the enemy
Yep.
side if
Yep.
given the chance and able to do the proper combo right. So we gotta still be very wary of a Zed coming at you, especially since he does have a full completed item in the Eclipse. So it's not like he's completely out of this game.
Right. Yeah, he's doing a good job at least staying relatively close gold wise. Not letting get too far down in CS. Even the 20 at 16 minutes is not nothing, and the 4 kills stacking on top of that. The window for Zed to be prominent in this game is still closing fast.
Yeah,
But
and that's
still
that's the
doing
key.
quarter health with a combo, 2 of those with an ult, and that's absolutely GG on any carry who's just still not not respecting the Zed.
And I think at this point they're gonna feel like I feel like Zed's gonna end up getting one of those like necessarily like an ego kill from the other side.
Ash getting ulted by
they're
Nautilus
just
right here.
jumping
Vi
right
going
on top of him
in. Jen
again.
getting the ult. Jen, yeah. An absolute wonderful collapse onto the carry. Nothing too excessive. Not trying to be greedy. Not going for extra. Getting the 1 kill, then moving towards the objective and setting up. Very smart by HYG.
They're definitely playing this game significantly smarter. This time it's not it's not about draft. This time they want to show that they're the better skill overall as players. But I do still think it's another draft issue that is going on here at this moment. And right now HYG showing the strength with their draft, and not only that, but now showing the skill as players.
Yeah. This draft wasn't as sold. But yeah, the fact that HYG is still outperforming in lanes with DA, who has champions that really need to be ahead to stay prominent in the game, is certainly a testament to their individual playstyle. Ari getting here, or sorry, Ash getting absolutely locked down by the Nautilus there. Shyvana trying to make a presence on that dragon fight, but is just not succeeding against what was currently a 4v5 there, but Ash and Zed had very little impact during that interaction.
Yeah, right now it's looking like we got quite a bit of pain at the moment going on.
Yeah, if I'm DA, I am trying to stick to the jungle. Here we go. Yeah, we're looking for these kind of kills. These one-on-ones, trying to get the damage down, but the shield from Vi going pretty strong there, and Vi getting out with the Q. I don't think, Zed's backing off. He didn't have a W cooldown.
He didn't
But
take up
that's
much
exactly what you're
space.
looking for. You're looking for these, picks to try to get some gold to kind of get back into the game, trying to stall out. But if I'm HYG, I am like deathballing these lanes, or I'm doing a 1-4 and just absolutely putting all the pressure I can while I have the lead.
At this point, it's the best thing that they can do is to attempt to try to make something of what they have, because 3-13 at 18 minutes into the game, sitting about 5K down, this is looking kind of bleak.
Yeah, it's definitely in DA's court to again be proactive, try to find these picks in the jungle, trying to get some wards down to spread out HYG. But if HYG death ball is right here, it's really hard to see if DA has an out.
I would be very surprised if they do. If they have some kind of, they might have some kind of plan though. They might be sitting on something that we don't even know. All of a sudden there could be like an explosion of something that happens with DA, and they can turn this whole game around. A Baron play, a really good like pocket, a really good pick, or some type of team fight. There's a lot of different things that they still have on their arsenal. It's just how quickly can they execute these things.
Yeah, Ari using 2 abilities to half health the Zed is certainly a problem for the Zed. That is unfortunate.
That's not something you want to be seeing right now, especially in this point in the game.
Yeah, and even Karma, getting the Qs doing, good chip damage where it's needed. Yeah, and Zed getting a
Now
little
chase
greedy with the
down.
farm. Zed Ari will be collecting that kill on the bot lane. Maybe. No, Zed seemed like he's walking away, but now Jen getting the ult onto Shyvana with the Nautilus help. Ash getting the ult down, but not getting much for it as there's no follow-up for it. Nautilus will be able to walk away. And Zed will be able to, too. He did actually manage to shadow away from the Ari in the bot lane.
Alrighty, so looks like at least they were able to mitigate any more losses in that sense, but we still have a burning map, unfortunately, right now for DA. Not completely on fire just yet, but there's some smoke.
Yeah, the warning signs are certainly going off.
We're
Yeah,
not
I'm
in
looking to build,
California wildfire yet, but
there's a drought, no less. Anything
right
can
there,
spark the absolute spread. The 1 in 5 on the Shyvana, you hate to see a lot of these prominent damage dealers just so far behind on gold trying to find their footing. And actually, yeah, wonderful thing that HYG did was just not throw the early game and nonetheless, run away with it. Certainly, a tough spot for DA to try to come back from. But again, you're looking for those picks. You're looking for some ward advantage. You got Zed kind of roaming by himself. I'll be running, 2-man pods, with Rek'Sai and Zed, or the Karma Ash Shyvana trying to get a pick on one of these solo laners, because Volibear's still sitting in the top, but all they are, obviously swarming towards Baron. HYG's doing what they're supposed to do. They are staying together. They're strength in numbers. The more gold beside each other in these situations, the better when you're facing a lot of these damage types.
especially with their kind of team, their team wants to fight like this, and they do find another fight as Karma gets caught out. The Nautilus ultimate lands on the Rek'Sai. Is there going to be any more turret fights though?
Karma getting a wonderful ult W there to heal off from not dying to the Ari, and Rek'Sai finding the re-engage. This is what you want to see from DA. Shyvana coming in, trying to get some AoE down. Zed now getting his ult in, but finding the Volibear as the target. Now Ari, Spiritfire finding that kill, and now, yes, DA is just going down one by one. Just too much of a gold difference to try to come back.
2. Oh, so close.
Woo! Nautilus actually getting really close there. Oh, but the Jhin W does end up sniping the Karma, and they will collect the triple for the Jhin. And that, my friends, is the sounding toll of DA's demise as HYG comes and takes the Baron.
For whom the bell tolls, currently it's looking like it's for Demonic Ascension.
5-0 on the Ari, 8-1 collector Yumu on the Jhin. They're about to back and have a ton more gold. They're up 8K right now. Certainly looking bleak. And Volibear now looking towards the Dragon. Shyvana there. Volibear, not the jungler. Shyvana might be able to do something here while they are taking Baron, trying to stall out the 4 dragons perhaps, or at least relieve the 3rd dragon pressure.
I don't think, though, Shyvana, could jump in, steal it, but might potentially end up losing their life for it, especially with no flash. As we do see, Volibear does end up pulling it over the wall, but I guess they do know that Shyvana's there, so we do see more of the team starting to barrel down towards the Drake. We have the TP coming in from Ari, so then she can also be here as well and ready. But I think Shyvana gave up on the Drake. Never mind. Nope, we do see Zed at posturing below it. But yeah, they should just give up on it. There's 3 members there now. There was no way for them to get that win.
Yeah, Volibear slow playing the dragon was pretty smart there. Maybe he was just doing as much damage as he could to it. You know, he hasn't built a lick of AP outside of the Dorn's ring, so I'm not. He's doing like a whole lot of damage to that dragon. So that was well played, just to start to get some chip damage and pull it away, just to make sure that DA didn't ever have a chance to stay on it.
And if Shyvana did decide to try to attempt to fight them, well, that would have probably ended up in her death more than anything. So
Yeah.
and now sitting
And
on
it does
Soul Boom.
relieve, you know, third dragon pressure, but you know, with Baron and third and fourth Soul coming up, it is certainly in DA's wheelhouse to really try to find an answer. Well, these Nautilus hooks are really teeing up the picks for HYG, but Rek'Sai does get the first bounty for DA with taking the top side tower, and top TP's immediately bought to try to engage with this Volibear, who's a level up and a whole item up, actually. That's a really tough spot.
Just sitting there hitting the tower, he does not care.
Volibear, yeah, and
He's just gonna
healing
go-
so much right there, too. Goodness.
Oh my god. And
Ash Arrow coming in, landing on the Volibear. Here it is, Shyvana with the W, and that will be a kill shutdown onto the Volibear for the Shyvana. Here we go, DA. Yes, double kill for the Shyvana. Zed now getting onto the Ari, who's in a panic trying to get away. Zed, oh, not quite getting it, but still getting Ari to 3/4. An absolute win for DA right there, getting some picks. That's exactly what you want to see.
that is literally what they've been waiting for this entire game.
And that's exactly what they did. They found a solo laner, you know, they got to collapse on them, and that's honestly what they're going to have to do over and over, you know, 3 or 4 more times without losing too many more objectives now with the 4th dragon coming up to try to get back in the game.
If they want to have any kind of hope of potentially winning this game at this point, it's going to be a lot more vision setup, trying to make sure that they can, you know, turtle out a lot of this extra damage, not being caught out too far up. Like, yeah, you got to push the lanes out as much as you can, but at the same time, you got to be very, very
Counter
careful.
re-engage from HYG. Jin ult getting down, 3 shots hit, 4th one coming up. Vi goes down to the Zed. Zed goes down immediately to the Vi. Jin still providing support deep down. Volibear now on to the Ashe as she is by herself with a monster in front of her. Ari taking down the Karma, and the rest of HYG collapsing
still
down to
locked
the
up.
Rek'Sai. Shyvana now trying to provide some support, but no, Ashe goes down, and Jen gets the 4th shot onto Karma. This is looking like a base push, but here is Shyvana from the back trying to get a kill. Yep, does get the execute Storm Surge, I believe, onto Vi. A little bit extra gold there. So she did get 3 kills on this back. So when she comes back, she will, you know, she bought the alternator right there, get a little more damage. But HYG, I don't think they can end it here. They might get Nexus turrets.
I think
just
they'll be able to get Nexus turrets because they don't have the Baron anymore, so they can't really buff much. But even with Zed still up, if he tries to go in on 1, they can still gang up on him.
4 members of HYG right here. They're certainly going to try for it. They're tanky enough. Ari and
It's
Zed,
worth
here it
it.
is. The last moment, Zed not finding any strong damage, and this will be the game. Oh, more random.
More random
Nope,
kills
nope.
trying to pad the KDA, not enough.
And that will be 2 wins and the series for Hung Young Gaze.
It's hot young gays.
That was
Wait.
Hung Gaze.
No, it's
Why is it switched?
Wait.
had to get a gotcha before we finished off.
Sitting here switching up the names now.
I gotta keep you on your toes. Make sure you're paying attention.
GG to HYG as they were able to go ahead and eke out, well, not eke it out, actually dominate to bring out that win there in the game 3 and in their first week series 2-1 against Demonic Ascension here in season 4 week 1 of Valhalla Esports. So you guys got any things that you particularly want to say? Like, do anything surprise you?
As far as, you know, if I had to give notes out, you know, DA did a really good job of you know, playing around their jungler that first game. But when they don't have Hecarim as a strong engage, they need to find a little more flexibility with the jungler to still have a strong presence. He's definitely better at these, you know, dive in, engage. He definitely prefer those, as we see like the Shyvana, the Yi bands, the Olaf, in the Hecarim. I think they still got to play around that. I don't. You got to keep your mental in check for sure. You know, these ego picks like the Zed, into the Ari. I understands that he might have like a little bit of a salary gain onto Bonkers, but you really got to be confident in those kind of champions to perform, or else you go 0-6-0 like the Zed did here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see a performance like that from the Zed there, but it ultimately just had to be a learning experience. Again, it's only the first week, so a lot of these teams might have just wanted to kind of maybe experiment, maybe make it a fun game. Again, it was a game 3, so like, yeah, you definitely wanted to win, but unfortunately, it led to Demonic Ascension trying to have a little bit more fun and trying to do something different in that game, led to them not winning it. And now we see HYG starting off with a 1-0 record for the season.
Absolutely. Well played, HYG. The first game, you hung in there, and then obviously the next two you adapted very well. An absolute wonderful comeback from HYG there.
Most definitely.
It's real nice
Alrighty.
seeing HYG starting off strong this season when they got respectfully bodied last season.
Mm, mm.
Always
There's some
good to see a team make
lore
a turnaround.
there. There's an arc coming.
There's a respectfully there.
It's like, respect HYG, all right? Put some respect on my
Like
name.
Hailstrom said in the chat, they just tied the amount of wins they had all last season.
Oof.
Starting off strong. The
Oof.
flame too here.
And it's only better from here. That's right. You can't do any worse. Amen, guys.
Like, you guys can only do so much better because you guys were the worst.
But more again, DA's got a lot of potential. They definitely showed a lot of promise that first game. If they can keep their mental in it, I think they'll be still very hot contenders.
Oh, most definitely. I don't think they should be discouraged by this. If anything, maybe they just got to make some changes, maybe make some role changes, see what things are, just keep scrimming, practice as a team, figure out what
Yep.
might be best for your team in general, and then go from there. Because it's still looking like the team has to just like everyone's within their first week, so people still are trying to figure
Right.
stuff
Of
out.
course.
No
Yep.
one here is going to be a perfect team off the rip.
If Fatboy Smoothie is asking for an MVP, I'm not sure about the interview part, but if I had to put an MVP on it, goodness, I mean, all of HYG played really well. Bonkers had an incredible last 2 games, playing safe. But TJ, I think, really
Yeah.
had just an impressive amount of influence these last 2 games, and made a lot of plays based off of him. I think it has to go to TJ. Perfy did really well in the top lane, but I think it has to go to TJ with Bonkers for a close second.
I was going to have to say it probably would be a TJ vote for me as well.
Indeed, we have a poll. Indeed, awesome, very cool.
There we go. We got that right the last second. So while that MVP vote is going on right now, guys, don't forget here at Valhalla Esports, you can go ahead and use your regular subs or prime subs to sub to the channel. By doing so, supporting Valhalla Esports, making the production cast, the overall league, and the actual, server itself better in an overall better place. So go ahead and just use those prime subs here, support Valhalla Esports. And before I forget to say it, guarantee your 30 days of love with Valhalla.
And TJ. Oh, it's a tie between Marbra and TJ. Absolutely. I think that's very fair.
I think
TJ,
that's a
obviously,
very
like we said,
respectful tie.
yeah, Marbra matching, at least the adaptation that Marbra went through on the second and third game, matching Halfling, I think really went a long way. And that Nautilus last game had so much pressure and just consistent hooks in the bot lane.
Yeah, though actually that's something else too. The Nautilus was such a big change and it definitely made a big factor.
Yeah, if I'm facing HYG later, that Nautilus is going to be a problem for sure. I would maybe take that out of his champ pool.
You
I was
guys might
about to
want to
say, it
consider
can't be a
banning that.
problem if you ban it.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
a considerable ban at this point. It sounds like Nautilus is about to slowly become the new Maokai again.
Anything else you want to wrap up with here, Malco? Boo?
I think I'm all set.
I'm all good.
You want to close us out here, Malco? This was a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me, man. I'm glad I
Thanks
came.
for joining.
Of course, thank you for joining us on the stream. And that was season 4, week 1 of Valhalla Esports, Demonic Ascension versus HYG. You guys have been joined by Melko, Boo, and Matthias, with the production being held by the owner himself, Beard. Thank you guys for joining us today. Remember to use your Prime subs here at Valhalla Esports. This has been your cast and crew, and we are out.
Let's go. The nightmare of eternity marches right before your eyes as the ground begins to shake. Ravens fly amongst the sky.